Hello, welcome to That Maths. This week we're looking at powers. Examiners love to start papers with quickfire questions, and quite often they'll use this opportunity to check that you know about the rules of powers. These questions all look really different, but when you learn the 3 basic rules of powers, you'll be able to answer any of these questions straight away. When you're using powers in things like algebra, there are rules that we need to follow. The first rule is that if you want to multiply powers, you need to add the 2 numbers. For example, if I had x to the power of 2 times x to the power of 3. Because the powers are both being applied to the same thing, which is an x, and they're being multiplied, I can work out the answer by adding the 2 and the 3. The second rule is that if you want to divide powers, you subtract them. X to the power of 5 divided by x to the power of 2. Again, we've got the same thing here for the powers to be applied to, so I can do 5 take away 2 to make 3, and the answer would be x to the power of 3. If you have powers in brackets, you multiply the numbers. So x to the power of 2, all in brackets, to the power of 4. I would do 2 times 4, which is 8, so my answer would be x to the power of 8. If you've got something like this, remember that the larger numbers are just treated as normal. Here I would do 2 times 5 to get me 10, and then because I'm multiplying powers, I would do 2 add 3, which gives me 5, so overall the answer would be 10x to the power of 5. Again, here I want to treat my larger numbers as normal, so 6 divided by 2 is 3, and then to divide powers I can do 5 take away 2, which is 3. So the answer to that would be 3x to the power of 3. In this example, I've got 2x to the power of 2 and all of that to the power of 4. So that means that the power of 4 is being applied to both the 2 and the x to the power of 2. That means to deal with my larger number, I need to do 2 to the power of 4, which is 16. Then to deal with my powers, because one of them is inside a bracket, I can times them. So 2 times 4 is 8. That means that my overall answer will be 16x to the power of 8. Pause the video here and see if you can give these ones a go. So for the first question, we don't have anything at the beginning, so we're just thinking about the powers. I'm timesing them, which means that I can add the powers, so x to the power of 7. In the second question, I'm dividing these powers, so I can do 5 take away 4, which is 1. But in algebra, remember that 1s are often left unwritten, so here I can just put t instead of t to the power of 1. In this question, to deal with my larger number, I have 3 to the power of 2, so 3 times 3 is 9. Then to deal with my powers, I've got m to the power of 3 inside a bracket and 2 on the outside of the brackets, so I can times them, which means that the overall answer will be 9m to the power of 6. Here, to deal with my larger numbers, I would do 10 divided by 2, which is 5. And then to deal with my powers, I would need to do the 6 take away the 4, because we're dividing, and that would give me y to the power of 2. So overall, it would be 5y to the power of 2. To deal with my larger numbers here, remember that if there's nothing written down, it means that there's a 1. So actually, to deal with my larger numbers, I would have to do 1 times 2, which gives me 2. And there would also be an invisible 1 as the power, because nothing's written down. To times these 2 powers together, I would need to add them. So a 2 add a 1 is 3, which means that overall my answer would be 2x to the power of 3. Again, here, because we've got nothing written in front of the h, we have a 1. So it would be 1 times 3 to give me 3. And neither of the powers are written down there either, so that means that there are invisible 1s as both of the powers. To multiply powers, we add them, so it would be 1 add 1 to give me 2. So the overall answer would be 3h to the power of 2. Multiplying, dividing, and powers in brackets are the most important rules to learn, but there are also a couple of extra ones that they might ask you. You need to know how to deal with something to the power of a negative number, how to deal with anything to the power of 0, and how to deal with something to the power of a fraction. This particular topic is only for the higher syllabus. With anything to the power of a negative number, our aim is to get rid of that negative. We can do that by putting everything there underneath a 1. So here I can get rid of that negative by writing an x to the power of 2 and all of that underneath a 1. It doesn't matter what the number is, we always put it underneath a 1 and we can always take away the minus by doing this. The middle one is the easiest because anything to the power of 0 is always 1. Whether it's a number or a letter or even a colour, if something is to the power of 0, the answer will always be 1. If you've got a fraction as your power, there will be 2 steps to go through. Let's say, for example, I have 9 to the power of 1 over 2. We always deal with our denominator first. This is telling you what kind of root to do to your number. If there's a 2 on the bottom, you would square root your number. If there was a 3 on the bottom, you would cube root your number, and so on. You're most likely to only get fractions with a 2 or a 3 on the bottom, so we'll just worry about these for now. If there is a 2 on the bottom, we want to square root, which is the case here. The square root of 9 is 3, because 3 times 3 gives me 9. Once I've got the answer, I can deal with my numerator. The number on top of the fraction is the power to which we're going to put our answer to. My answer was 3, because I was looking for the square root of 9. Now I'm going to put that 3 to the power of 1, because I've got a 1 on top of my fraction. 3 to the power of 1 is 3, and that's my answer. If, for example, I had 16 to the power of 3 over 2, we've got a 2 on the bottom, so that means that we want to square root our 16, and that gives me 4. Then I want to use the top number and put that as the power of whatever my answer was. So I'm going to do 4 to the power of 3. 4 times 4 times 4 is 64, and that will be my answer. In the case of 27 to the power of 2 over 3, I have a 3 on the bottom, which means that I want to cube root instead of square root. Cube root just means which number do you have to times by itself 3 times to get that number. If I did 3 times 3 times 3, I get 27. So that means that the cube root of 27 is 3. Just as before, we use the top number and put that as the power of our answer. My answer was 3, so I'm going to put that to the power of the numerator, which is 2. So 3 times 3 is 9, and that's my answer. Okay, well done. Let's have a look at a quick summary. Number 1. To multiply powers, you need to add them. To divide powers, you need to subtract them. And if you've got powers in brackets, you multiply them. If you've got anything to the power of a negative number, our aim is to get rid of the minus by putting everything underneath a 1. Anything to the power of 0 is always 1, no matter what it is. And if you've got something to the power of a fraction, the bottom number tells us whether to square root or cube root our answer. And then the top number tells us what power to apply to our answer. Okay, well done everybody, that's it. Thank you very much for your time. Please hit that subscribe button, brand new channel, so it really does help me out. Have a lovely week and I will see you again next time. Bye.